Hi, I'm the author Jo Spain. Thanks very much for asking me to come on and talk a little bit about Dirty Little Secrets, my standalone from last year that's out in paperback this month. What can I say about Dirty Little Secrets? It is probably up to now, because I've got a really special book coming out next year called The Perfect Lie. Dirty Little Secrets is probably the favourite book of mine that I've written. And also the hardest book. I love the characters in it, but I put a lot of characters in and it made it very difficult because when you're writing a book with that many different characters, you've got to make them all very distinct and unique and likeable and unlikable in equal turn. And of course, that's not as easy to do as it sounds. You should give it a try sometime. But what really worked for me with Dirty Little Secrets was that I did introduce different perspectives. What I kind of wanted to do was, when the police come to interview a group of people who've been at a scene, they'll often hear contrasting statements about what's just happened. Say if they turn up for two neighbours having had a fight over something, and both neighbours will have their very distinct, unique perspectives about what's after happening in that exchange. And it's up to the police to kind of garner the truth from what they're being told. And in Dirty Little Secrets, Olive Collins is found dead at the very start of the book. She's been dead for 3 months. She lives in a closed, gated, exclusive community, and the police just cannot fathom how her death could have gone unnoticed and unremarked on for 3 months. So they start asking questions, and we hear the neighbours' perspectives of Olive at the same time as we hear her voice from beyond the grave, where she's speaking about how the neighbours treated her. And it's up to almost a reader to be like the policeman or woman, where they're judging, okay, who's telling the truth here? Who is kind of biased? Who has an opinion that doesn't fit with what we're hearing? And at the very end, we kind of realise that, well, it's not that people are lying, or well, in some cases they are, or even exaggerating. It's just that their perspectives are different. And Olive thinks she's one way and her neighbours think she's another way. And it looks like people had a lot of reasons to kill her. And I think she even realises that as we move towards the end of the book, people might have wanted to kill her. I'm going to read you just a little bit of the book. This is when somebody first moves into the community. So this is kind of how Olive starts to perceive these people as they're moving in, and it gives a little bit of a glimpse into how Olive's mind works. Chapter's Olive, and this is house number 4. When Stu Richmond moved into number 1, it was very exciting. In a country of B-list celebs, he was a shining star because he'd made it in the States. The man who'd launched many a career and garnered millions in the process. He was more famous than half the bands he'd founded, probably aided by the fact that they had a habit of crashing and burning when the egos properly landed. I insisted on calling him Mr. Richmond. I did it partially because I was old-fashioned, but if I'm honest, mainly to annoy him. He was one of those people that just provoked the rebel in you. Stu fitted the image he was trying to project, my book. And that image was of a man that wasn't out of place with a girlfriend who was younger than his adult son, a man who had a red Porsche in the driveway, a man who routinely flew Southside, and God bless him, a man who had a personal trainer and hair plugs. First the girlfriend departed, then Mr. Richmond headed back to his US home. The charming countryside and fabulous withered vale lost its allure over the course of one damp winter. It was George's turn to live in the mini mansion. George was far quieter than his father. A real lone wolf, isolated even, you might say. We were such a small community, it was a terrible waste. At first I thought he might be gay and a little shy for it. It was cliched, I know, but he was young, handsome, kept the exterior of his home immaculate, and I never saw a girl call to his house. Never saw a woman on his arm. That summer, I stuck a pride sticker in the sitting room window to show some solidarity. Maybe that was all he needed, some outreach. I wanted to see if he'd do the same. He didn't. It turned out George wasn't gay. George was something else altogether. So Olive's making up her mind about George, and he's only landed in the estate. It's out in paperback at the moment. All the shops are stocking it and they're doing their best to get it into your hands despite COVID. So I hope you pick it up and that you enjoy it. I hope books are keeping you as much company as they're keeping me. Well, what else do we have to do between books and Netflix? But there are somewhere for us to go when we can't leave the house. Isn't that what we always say? Thanks so much for reading any of my books already, and thanks for being such a good supporter of bookstores, and long may it last. Bye for now.